Hey everybody, it's your buddy, Admiral Teag. I'm just out of the theater from seeing Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm going to start out non-spoiler, and I'll try to warn you before I start giving away any key details of this movie. Also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please consider giving it a try, and if not, make sure you're still subscribed. With that said, here's the movie review. The Fantastic Four First Steps hits the screen like a 115-minute cosmic car crash, trying to cram a family drama, a multiverse mess, and a showdown with Galactus into a retro-futuristic 1960s aesthetic. Director Matt Shakman wastes some of the runtime on pure nonsense, if you ask me. Pedro Pascal isn't bad as Reed Richards. He manages to affectate a different voice, but it really doesn't feel like it's someone else, so there's that. I never felt like I was watching Reed Richards. Ian Griffith was better. Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm, she's alright. She gives them what they want, but again, I would rather have watched Jessica Alba in this role, for all they did with it. Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm, and Eben Moss, Bacharach is Ben Grimm, and they aren't bad either in these roles, but everyone's stuck in this story that's just so dumb you want to yell at the screen. We start this thing with a generic early 1960s type talk show host blabbering away, and it's a chaotic slog with a sprinkle of, what were they thinking? This movie has a semi-chaotic vibe you'd only want to mutter about in frustration over a pint. Here's how they achieve this level of non-immersion. The movie kicks off with this lazy, non-linear trick that's not really owned up to until the movie's end. The problem is you figure it out when they're still going to it in the middle of the story. The trick in this movie is that it actually is starting after the story has concluded. So the bad TV host is bringing you up to speed on the story. Then we'll see a little more of the story. And then the bad TV host is back to sort of, speak a little more of what we just saw in so many words. So they get around any lack of cohesion by sort of hitting it twice. And they have a narrator. Honestly, this guy, he's a narrator. He narrates the movie. That's the purpose of this talk show host. So they picked up on the popular idea of dropping in a few years after the team started out. So this is how they get around the need for an origin movie or, any kind of story. I would point out a really exciting cold open where they save people using their powers would have been a lot better. But hey, who am I to suggest things, right? This is a tired, modern, spinning headline trope ripoff with the talk show host, talking. Or a newsreader or anchor bringing us up to speed, This is CW level storytelling, okay? 6 minutes in, Sue Storm is pregnant. Bam. No setup. Just instant baby drama. Pedro's Reed is a nervous wreck, and Sue's got to calm him down. The dialogue's pure trash, like fanfic nobody ever bothered to edit. And as the team gets their powers from cosmic radiation, according to the talk show host, all that's going through my mind is, at least that's the same. Alright, so at this point, I'm going to start getting into some plot details, and there's not so much non-spoiler territory left, so be warned. From the 6 to the 19-minute mark, the film tries to do a trilogy's worth of crap and still finds a way to waste time. A montage of the team, especially Sue's acts of valor and heroism, showcases their heroics. But, Reed's stretchy power gets one sad moment in all of this before he's benched like the semi-useless loser that this indecisive character is. He invents some stuff, sure, but his tactics are straight up garbage, and his plan to teleport the entire Earth to another solar system is so stupid that it's like a cry for help. It's really dumb, man. From the smartest person on Earth, or at least that Earth, they get the plan from placing saddles. We'll move somewhere else and they won't find us. That's what that is. This is supposed to be a serious movie, though. So Sue also has brokered world peace and also peace with the mole people on a parallel Earth. She solves all the world's problems in a quick TikTok kind of montage. It's so easy, it's insulting, but the film acts like this is an Academy Award moment. The talk show host keeps cutting back in, talking about off-screen stuff, and it makes the linear structure of the movie a total mess. It feels like they screwed up and just shrugged. The family dinner is creepy, with Johnny and Ben's voices popping, but the dialogue crashing like a bad sitcom. Johnny magically knows Sue's pregnant. Impossible, they say. You know, they're under the impression that they can't conceive, is what Sue and Reed have spoken of, so we would have to think that other people are at least in on this, but they crank the MCU humor up like way too high during this segment. It's really cringe, and the rest of the film dials this back like 30% compared to something like, say, Thunderbolts, where this movie, I would say, is a little bit even worse than Thunderbolts. It's close. It's a judgment call, honestly. It's got its own mid-credit plot hole that they'll probably just ignore. Reed has some weird moments. Johnny, I don't know, he's maybe a little cooler than Reed. Reed's sort of like the team's punching bag. Galactus is teased at 12 minutes. I mean, this movie's now moving at Rise of Skywalker speed. The Loki-style set screams cheap ripoff, and the light oversaturation is bothering my eyes. Don't bother with this one on IMAX. It's not worth the extra money. Reed teleports an egg 10 feet, okay? So, by their worlds, say 1960, they already have Star Trek level matter teleportation. That's what he's pulled off. He can teleport things. But they upscale that to this plan to teleport the entire planet to another solar system where we'll hide from Galactus. I mean, that is just, it sounds like a bad idea. Then he's all curious about Sue and what's going on with, you know, their future child, and he's wondering, he's taking various technical solutions, and he can't crack it. World's smartest guy. She pulls like this ESP, and she's like, you're worried about nothing. Everything's going to be fine. So that's good enough for him. And why he didn't ask her to do that sooner is beyond me. World's smartest guy. Ben Grimm is a whiner, okay? He's obsessed with the Brooklyn Dodgers for some reason, who left in 1958 or something like that, and Chelsea, Manhattan, where he keeps going for some weird validation. And what's weird here is he keeps running into Natasha Lyonne. Ben Grimm's girlfriend is sightless. Now, I wasn't getting that this character was sightless, but what's funny is Natasha Lyonne plays the sightless character from Blade Trinity. I don't know. Are they trying to make a connection here? I can't tell you. But Natasha Lyonne shows up. It was nice to see her, I guess. Anyway, that's Ben. He's kind of looking for validation downtown in the neighborhood he grew up in. Johnny's this serious detective who's trying to baby-proof the entire world, which is so dumb, it's almost performance art. At 20 minutes, Shalala Bal, the female Silver Surfer, Julia Garner, drops a death and doom speech as Galactus' herald. You know, I mean, it's this, I call her Silver Surfer because she's like, it's a shill move, really. And she makes this speech as Galactus' herald, and Johnny, she takes off, and Johnny chases her into, you know, no oxygen space, I guess, because he's flying, and he goes up beyond the edge of the atmosphere, and he flames out, obviously, right? His flames go out, and you would think that's because there's no oxygen, but Shalabal speaks to him. Now, maybe she's magical or whatever, but, like, we just saw one thing, and now we're seeing something that contradicts it, so it's a little bit like, I thought we had no oxygen, how can they talk? But they track, he falls back down to Earth and manages to, you know, get this information back to the Fantastic Four, and they start trying to decipher the language that she spoke to him in. Johnny's simping hard for her shiny skin, and he sees his reflection in her like this lovesick loser, and he's trying to decode her language with some BS magic data. It's dumb. The team preps for space. Only they apparently can go to space. Everyone else roasts Reed nonstop. The delivery's so flat, it's like they're half asleep sometimes. I mean, I think that's what they were trying for. Again, improv director doing drama and action for the first time. So I don't know. Like, I think a lot of the brilliance of a show like Children's Hospital might just be that Rob Kudry and Henry Winkler are great, right? Like, a lot of the success of It's Always Funny might just be that team is great. So the first pregnant woman in space is the milestone. It's like, who cares? And a second space flight, it's apparently the second space flight of all time. They're shoved in like cheap checklist items at 32 minutes. New York City loves their vacuum tube world, and it's like the Fallout style for no damn reason. And we see the liftoff at 32 minutes of the rocket from Manhattan. Okay, that's where the space dock is in this world. And then they dock with like a clones style ship. Remember in Attack of the Clones where Obi-Wan had like a drive section that he docked his ship to that enabled him to go faster than light? The scene is ripped right from Attack of the Clones. They dock with an FTL booster, and they got a Revenge of the Sith scene in there too with some lava, and there's a Phantom Menace thing where the droids save their ship. It's got that vibe. So really quickly we take care of all the Star Wars prequels. I guess Matt Shackman loved them. Why Galactus doesn't destroy their FTL drive is beyond me, because he could have done that. Reed finally stretches at 35 minutes, and after Sue saves the day, his first use of power at 35 minutes. We've only seen it archivally. It's sad. Shalabal's second run-in, with them, it's just like, Galactus, we'll see you now, is her line. It's like a canceled B-movie cliche. She's the herald of and also secretary and corporate manager for the, Galactus. Her target acquisition role feels half-baked. The quips are few and awful, making this barely more immersive than Superman, which had too many jokes. It's more watchable. Like, Superman is actually more watchable, but this is just as weird. And it's emo, and it's got a loser hero, just like Superman. So there's some commonality there. Sue being the most powerful here is as off as Superman's sad sack lead, and both films are a coin toss for meh, Galactus is played by Roy Anderson. He shows up at 43 minutes. It's a dark, murky mess of an edgelord offering this Rumpelstiltskin deal. He wants Reed and Sue's baby, who they've pre-named Franklin, to pass his traits on to. Like, Galactus wants to impose his memory engrams or his traits onto this baby because he's tired and he wants to retire, I guess. Seriously. By 48 minutes, the stupidity's so overwhelming that I'm checked out, bored to death. I mean, gravity to give birth. She's using all her superpowers while she's giving birth to save the day with the force field and invisibility and everything else. It's like a Galactus cult is shown, and there's a mob chanting, "We want the baby," outside the Baxter building after they make good their escape from Galactus. This is where I start wondering if maybe they tried to fix this movie and it didn't quite work out, because there seems to be some information left out here. Are the people who want the baby connected to the Galactus cult who want to, buy off Galactus? Galactus says, "Give me your baby and I'll let the Earth go." And, it's a 1 for 9 billion deal, and, whatever. That's the stakes of this movie. This is when the plan to teleport the Earth starts being talked about more. And to do this, they're going to turn the world off and turn it back on again. So they turn off all the world's electricity for this with no setup. It's just stupid. It's an Independence Day style space montage. Starts then with the shadow of Galactus falling over Manhattan. And Galactus is at least pretty badass looking when we get Kaiju Galactus. And the CGI, some of it is pretty good. Now, from this point on, we get some pretty good CGI. It's looking better. A moment here and a moment there, still embarrassing, but it's better. It's one laugh in a full theater for the joke where the MC humor flops when Galactus starts to attack the city. Galactus is a decent enough kaiju. There was mixed CGI. Some of it was pretty good. The Galactus parts were better than most of the rest of the movie. He looks really good, for the most part. But what happens is now he attacks Manhattan. Can you destroy another city for once? At 72 minutes, Mole Man Paul Walter Hauser lands the only decent joke in the movie, proving the humor's dead. The finale sees Ben say it's clobbering time as he and Johnny attack Galactus, but Sue's telekinesis steals the show, tossing him towards this Stargate they've opened up. The plan to teleport the Earth to another solar system doesn't work out. Shocker. So the new plan is lure Galactus to Times Square and turn on this Stargate so that he gets sucked into it and thrown to somewhere in deep space where he's going to be millions of light years away without his ship and he won't be able to find us. Or so the plan goes. They all take him on in New York. Again, it's very ID4 here and there. At least he's a cool kaiju. They finally give the "it's clobbering time" line, and Johnny and Ben attack Galactus. They knock him off balance long enough for Sue to jump in there with her scary telekinesis powers. She's protecting Franklin, their bait, Franklin, and she starts pushing Galactus towards this Stargate that's going to take him out of the world and, make him not a problem anymore. And as he's getting pushed in there, like, he's struggling, and Sue, boom, she pushes him in there, and that's it. Oh, wow, it's a good thing that it worked out. All of a sudden, he jump scares his way back out. Johnny Storm realizes that he's got to show his quality. He decides, flame on. He's going to go in there and he's going to stop Galactus. He's speeding towards Galactus. He's going to knock Galactus into the singularity and go in there with it through the Stargate and seal himself in there with Galactus. It's a noble sacrifice in the making. No! Silver Surfer comes out of nowhere. She knocks him out of the way with her silver surfboard, and she goes, and she's the one who knocks Galactus into the Stargate. The singularity snaps shut behind him at exactly the amount of time they had left, and that's it. The movie's a wreck. Pedro Pascal, for whatever talent he has, is wasted, stuck with the terrible tactics and the real dumb plan. Vanessa Kirby carries it, but it's a creepy arc that screws her. Joseph Quinn's, simping Johnny, and even Moss Bacharach's Brooklyn Obsessed Ben. It's just narrative roadkill. Julia Garner's Shala Ball is fierce, but buried in cliches. Ralph Ineson's Galactus is kind of a letdown. He looks cool a lot of the time, and then there's another sequence where he's just not so cool looking. The talk show framing is a repetitive snooze. The 6 to 19 minute midsection tries to do too much while wasting time on fluff, and that's where the movie really kind of starts to fall apart and loses. It's not incoherent, but it's just not balanced, and it's a weird pacing, and the movie doesn't work. I didn't hate it, but I'm not watching it again. Skip this and Superman, or flip a coin if you must, but, don't be me. Don't go to both. Anyway, I really thank you for your time, and if you enjoyed the review, do me a favor, if you could, hit the like and follow button and give my channel a try. I'd be personally very grateful. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you out there.